It was amazing, wasn't it, that the rulers of the Jews, the priestly class, those who were the successors of Moses, could be so wrong about Jesus. Could be so wrong about Jesus. But after all, Israel was the chosen people of God. God had spoke to them down through the years, to Moses, given them many wonderful things, the sacrifices, the prayers. But they were so wrong about Jesus. When the one who had been promised finally came, they didn't catch it. They didn't see it. They resisted God's plan. And it was because they weren't tuned into God's will. They were tuned into their own power. They weren't tuned into God's will. And so it happened that the stone which the builders rejected became the cornerstone. I'm not a builder, but I realize that if you build a building out of stones, you have to select the right stones. And I suppose the cornerstone has to be an especially good one. The whole building is going to depend on it. If they reject the best stone of all, it's amazing and tragic. But that's what they did. The leaders of the Jews rejected Christ. Not all the Jews, of course. After all, the apostles were Jews. Mary was a Jew. All the early Christians were Jews, but so many of them rejected. It was mostly the leaders, the higher-ups, who rejected him. But it was all part of God's plan. And so Jesus really did rise from the dead and changed everything. Isn't it interesting about Jesus appearing on the seashore after he rose from the dead? It wasn't that Jesus went off into heaven in glory and forgot about the people on earth doing their daily tasks. The apostles are back doing their daily work, back to normal. Let's go out and fish. That's what they did every day, go out and fish. And they find Jesus there in the midst of their work. And someone has said, isn't this good for us to remember, to find Jesus in the midst of our work? He's not just far away in heaven somewhere and doesn't care about our daily tasks and our daily concerns. He's always close. Many of you still work commercially, and maybe in a business and get paid for it. But I'm sure all of you work in other ways. If you do nothing else than keep up your house and your yard, keep everything in good order, that is work too. Let's remember that whatever our work may be, Jesus is close. One priest said whenever he has to do his work, like visit the sick or hear confessions, he always asks Jesus, you take over. You take over. The apostles fished all night and caught nothing. But when they let Jesus take over, what happened? They caught a great number of fish. When they let Jesus take over, they'd been fishing all night, they caught nothing, and he gave them a direction, they followed, and they caught much. We should remember that. When we do our work, whatever it may be, we should ask Jesus to help us, to take over with our work, and do it remembering that he's close to us. If we let Jesus take over, then our work too will bear good fruits. Let us stand now.